just can't believe you're all here. This looks like a full church service. It's the first time in how many months? 18 months? Something like that. So thank you for all being here. And I'm sorry I'm not Linda, because she's was supposed to be the speaker to get this wonderful audience. And we also have some new faces, so welcome for you that are new. Thank you for being here. The theme for the month has been understanding one another. And I have a process I go through when I do prepare for a talk. And a lot of that is spent time thinking and ruminating about things. And I usually have about a month to do that in. 3 days. So I'm going to end up reading quite a bit of things to you, but I think it's going to get us to the same point. So, understanding one another. I thought about that, and the first thing I decided I needed to think about was understanding myself, or us understanding ourselves, before we can really truly understand somebody else. And what does that mean in unity thinking? I know many of you are familiar with this book, Divine Audacity, by Linda Marcel Whitsitt. But I like this book because it breaks down the 12 powers of man into some component parts that it lets me have something to work with. Jeff, that squeak. Is that better, folks? Can you hear it now? Thank you, Jeff. And she breaks down understanding into the component parts of, well, see, I've already forgotten. That's why the book is here. Into comprehension, realization, and insight. And the process of doing that, I'm just going to read this, how she makes it sound. Asking, seeking leads to study, meditation, and reflection. Comprehension. Comprehension supports realization, and realization, thinking and action. Comprehension and realization facilitate insight, the ability to see truth in the midst of circumstances. I want you to keep those things in mind, because I think what I'm going to do for the most part is provide a lot of information for you from Charles Fillmore about understanding, and how that is just a part of comprehension. I'm giving you information, and hopefully at the end of it we'll have some recognition of something and possibly some insight, but we'll see. So to begin with, I'm going to read from the 12 Powers of Man, and this is a quote from Tennyson that Charles uses. Knowledge comes, but wisdom lingers. Spiritual discernment always places wisdom above the other facilities of mind, and reveals the knowledge and intelligence, and reveals that knowledge and intelligence are auxiliary to understanding. They are just pieces that help us to grasp the understanding of things. Intellectual understanding comes first for the soul. Then deeper understanding of principles follow until the whole man ripens into wisdom. When I'm reading that, what I'm hearing is that this is a process, that we actually are evolving, growing with each piece of understanding we come into contact with and bring into our souls and our minds and our hearts, that it fills and grows in us, and that ripens us and takes us to the truth of our being, which is the Christ within us. So here's some more what he says about this understanding business. By meditation and by the innate logic of mind, which is really a process of cleaning the windows of our mind so that we continually see a little more clearly. We have become conscious of the unity with the great source of almightiness, and have learned that through this unity we may be led into the light here and now. I like that analogy of the window. I've heard it as used as a mirror too. The idea that as we learn things, as we engage in truth and with truth, we're cleaning this mirror in which we can truly see ourselves more clearly. And if we can see ourselves more clearly, hopefully we can see the world more clearly. But we're always, always moving forward towards that divine nature of our being. I really wish I didn't have to do this. But this one's fun. No one can do this for you. No one can do this for you. You do not really want another to do it, although you may think how nice it would be to have some master of spiritual ideas that would suddenly help you right into his understanding. But this is a childish dream of the moment. I don't know how many times I've had that dream, just hoping that somebody would fill me with the truth, so I wouldn't have to work so hard, because it's really hard work. If you want to be yourself, you can be yourself only by living out your life and finding the issues at the fountainhead. By the fountainhead, finding the issues at the fountainhead. The truth of your being, at the very essence or the beginning, the place it starts. God, the divine, the fountainhead, another name for the divine, the place where all come from. And I'm going to just break for a second here. I know the reading from the Daily Word today. If you miss anything I need to say, please come up and read this little page, because it says everything I want to say in a very short little period of time. But this idea that we're growing, we're evolving by taking in information, by taking in truth, by hearing and reading and involving ourselves in the process of evolving and maturing into our divinity. This is, Charles was talking about Peter and Jesus, and he goes on to say, the fact is, being is always present, being capitalized. God is always present. Mortal ignorance and lack of faith prevent our realization of this truth. The more we believe in wisdom, power, substance, love, and life of the one mind, the greater is its activity in us and in our affairs. Again, telling us that this process of growing as we take in these things and we work with them with our faith, with our understanding, with loving others, that we're growing. It reminds me when I read this when Bob Odell and Joan were here with their girls early on. And I was doing a talk, and I was talking about planting seeds. And I looked at these two young ladies, and I told them that, talking about the divinity inside them, I said, I have planted a seed in you that will never go away. That it's planted there. It's going to grow. It's going to mature. And that's true for all of us. Wherever we first heard that truth, whether it was in another church or another meeting of some sort or whatever from a speaker, once that truth is planted, it does not go away. It may need watering, it may be tendering, it may need being brought into the light of day to grow, but it's there. with every step we take, it grows within us. And we're not doing that by ourselves. The divine is pressing that forward too. People who are being educated in truth through the writings and spoken word will finally arrive at the place where true light from Spirit will draw upon them, and they will, like Thomas, see the spiritual understanding and have proof of the reality of Christ's mind. That's the good news. But the tenets of this, I like the word tenets. Sorry, principles, I know, but I like the word tenets. The tenets of this church tell us that through affirmative and prayer and meditation, we come in conscious contact with God and bring out the good in our lives. Just like the other thing said, you got to do this by yourself. You have to pray. You have to meditate. You have to bring the truth into your lives. Whether it's through the book groups here, taking classes from Susan Gum, or going to other Unity things, or other spiritual processes. I think Martin's gone and seen Marianne Williamson 3 or 4 times, Martin? Twice. So again, we all have these opportunities to grow and find the truth in our lives. And it's so important. We're getting near the end of my not talking to you straight to your face. So the great need of the whole human family is to know the one supreme law of God as Spirit, manifesting itself in the mind of man. And then it is necessary that we understand our own importance as God manifestations. We should understand we are not separate or insignificant, but a vital, important, and integral parts of the mighty whole. That sounds like Marianne Williamson's great quote, doesn't it? We should understand that we are not separate. Micah will tell us we are one. We are the whole. We are the singularity of God. That's all there is. And that no matter our belief in how we fit into this world, that we are an integral, important part of it. We all have a place in the puzzle. For years I've been trying to figure out how to visualize this thing of the unity and the separateness at the same time. And the closest I can come to it is when some years ago, I was mowing the lawn and a rock flew out of my mower and hit my sliding glass door. And there was this pop and this little crackling sound. And then I looked up and the whole of the pane of glass just was standing there one moment and fell into a million little pieces. And I think that might be what it's like, that without each piece, the window would not be whole. Yet each piece has broken in such a way that is all unique, just as we are. God made us perfect and unique at the same time, a part of the whole. And we need to embrace that part of ourselves, that wholeness, and get rid of those ideas that I am not, whatever word you want to put in there. I am not worthy. I am not smart enough. I am not good looking enough. I am not something. Because it's not true. The truth is that we are whole, perfect, and complete. We just can't see it because the window or the mirror still has grime on it. And we're still cleansing that in the process. In the degree that we awaken to the consciousness of our inherent wisdom is the degree that we are responsible to the Father, and we were required to render unto him the fruitage of our wisdom. All of us unfold according to our understanding and realization. Each of us individually. We all are doing this, and we're all going to do this process. Whether our understanding is small or large, we must measure up to be or demonstrate that which we have been given. And we all have been given so much. And some of it is so hidden in the pain of our lives, in our stories, that overcoming that, embracing our story, getting help to understand what those things were and how they fill our lives and make us more whole and perfect. That is really a big job in our lives, to embrace all of ourselves, all of our lives, to come in contact with that which hurts us, that we might heal it and let it go. There's a book my wife has called Feelings Buried Never Die. And I think it's the absolute truth. It is only by embracing our pain, only embracing the truth of our being, that we can surrender to our true self and let that stuff go and have it removed from us. This is the last thing. It even says last on this little red tag. But I can just find it now. Okay. This belief must lead us to a desire and an effort to attain our inheritance, because we know that there is no other thing in the universe worth striving for. For every person in his real, true desires is to be just as great and just as good as it is possible for him to be. To open the door to attainment of this objective is to believe in one's own divinity. The attainment of this objective is to believe in one's own divinity and then raise oneself to its level by following the example of Jesus. Now I wish I could stand up. I have to stay here. Understanding ourselves, understanding the truth of who we are, our divinity, is our one great task. We're living in a world that is full of distraction. Our lives are painful and good. We have loss that hurt us deeply. We have joys that bring us great love and understanding. But the truth of our being, our Christ nature, that which we are destined to be and deliver into the world, is to embrace that in every aspect of our lives. So, since the title of this talk from the Speakers Committee was Understanding One Another, what is it that we must understand, or the greatest understanding that we can bring to the others in our lives, from me to all of you, and from all of you to me and to each other, is the great gift of grace that we are all divine in nature. God is present in everything, everywhere. I am naturally good because God's divinity is in me and in everyone. We don't even get to do it to people we don't like. People we find despicable. They're still divine children of God. And our goal in our lives is to see ourselves and everyone else as divine children of God. Everyone else. We don't get to pick and choose. That window broke into a million pieces, and each one of us are part of that whole. And each one of us have something to bring into this life to move all of life forward. And we don't know what that is for each and every one of us. We don't know what great gifts somebody brings that may hurt us, that opens our eyes to a greater truth. We are the presence of God in this world. We are the manifest of the truth of our being in this world. We are the one. Every one of us is whole, perfect, and complete. So, we're going to do our meditation now. But what I'm going to ask you to do is I'm going to ask you to see, when we get into the quiet and stillness, I'm going to ask you to see if you can find that place in yourself that feels any small bit of your divinity. It may be just the warmth in your chest. Sometimes I feel a pressure in my forehead. It may be the light in your chest or around you. Whatever that is, I want you to embrace it and hold it as long as you possibly can. And when I bring you back out of the meditation, I want you to hold on to that thought just for a few moments. And if you can do it with your eyes open, open your eyes. But if you can't, keep your eyes closed, that you might hold on to it for a little bit longer. So if you would, please get yourselves comfortable in your seats. Everybody out there too, I don't mean to ignore you. And let's take a couple breaths together. In and out. In and out. And in and out. Now in your imagination, or in the truth of your body, feel that spark of divinity that is your true self. In the silence of the moment, seek the truth of your being. Okay. Slowly, slowly, slowly come back. Come back into the room. And if you can, open your eyes and behold the Christ within everybody here. Behold the truth of our being. For we are divine beings, the manifestation of God in this world, the peace, the joy, the love of God. Please look around. See the others in here. Those of your friends. Oh, so it's time to finish things up with the prayer protection. So if you would join me in the prayer of protection. The light of God surrounds us. The love of God enfolds us. The power of God protects us. And the presence of God watches over us. Wherever we are, God is well. Is well. Thank you.